Would Elden Ring claw weapons allow you to become Wolverine in real life? Starting off with the Hookclaws, which are kind of weirdly named because they don't look like hooked claws. They definitely look like claws, but I want to point out one flaw with these types of weapons. They consist of essentially a handlebar that you hold and a block of wood and then blades extending from there. And the issue is, if you put any force on this, then that goes directly to your wrist. And that's a point on your body that can be easily injured. There are some ninja weapons that I've seen called the Tekokage that work better because they extend over the wrist, so that way when pressure is applied to this side, it transfers just to your forearm. Which is also pretty uncomfortable, but you could have that padded and it would be fine. And you won't be risking wrist injury. If you look at boxers, you see them wrapping their wrists in order to protect their wrists while throwing punches, and using something that's like a lever like these would just exacerbate any of those issues. Because if you hit at any angle, then that just really could be uncomfortable. So in general, these weapons would be good if they had a longer portion and also some wrist support. Even the hacksmith did this sort of thing with wrist support when he used his bone Wolverine claws to actually punch concrete. It's a good idea. But anyway, the Hookclaws look like you could definitely do some punching, and they look like edged blades, so that way you could do some cutting as well. Pretty much, standard Wolverine stuff. Next up are the bloodhound claws, and repeat everything that I just said about the other ones with this design too. Onto the blades, they're obviously curved so you can Wolverine punch with them. But punching something with hard metal would hurt. And you could definitely slash with them, and you could slash with more of a grabbing motion, which would work to pull away shields, and I believe the text of this mentions getting around shields, which curved weapons can do. So you'd have a surprising amount of versatility with these in order to get at your opponent, but fewer ways of actually injuring them. Venomous fang seems a bit different since it seems like it's fully encased on your hand, and if there was a place to grip and it was padded there, then that would be pretty good, although the whole wrist thing would be bad. But the snake head itself is brass, which, would hurt punching into something, and then there's a spike which you could slash and also use in pulling motions like the bloodhound claws. And poison too. So like the bloodhound claws, it's pretty solid. With the raptor talons, even if the issues that I had mentioned before on these general claws were addressed, I'm not a big fan of these. Since they're curved, you can't punch with them, and they don't have an edge on the inner curve or outer, so it's harder to slash with them. You can pretty much just grab and puncture with them with the tips. And this would be okay if it weren't for the fact that, judging from the picture, it seems like they are off-center a bit. They're at an angle from where they are on your hand. So the tips would be like here and here, so it'd be relatively unintuitive to actually use. Here are some weapon classes I've covered, and what weapon class do you think I should cover next?